Om. 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 Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Deva Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Chinmayam Vyapyat Sarvam Trailokyam Sacharacharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Tvameva Mata Cha Pita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhuscha Sakha Tvameva Tvameva Vedya Dravinam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva. Jai Guru. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Parvavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Madhidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So who has come in? Who's in the corner there?
Shilpa.
Hi, Shilpa. And Atik?
Yeah.
Yes. So we are in the 9th chapter. What verse are we on?
On 14.
14. Does anybody want a text? All right, will you help us out, please, Deepa?
Satatam kirtayanto mam yatantascha dridhaprataha namasyantascha mam bhaktya nityayukta upasate. Always glorifying me, striving, firm in vows, prostrating before me, and always steadfast. They worship me with devotion.
So the topic that we've been dealing with is Krishna divides people into two categories. Those who involve themselves in Deva Yajna, worship of the Devas. And remember, our deeper understanding of this is some presiding principle over human endeavor, meaning some worldly activity. I want a relationship. I want money. I want a business. I want a house. I want the esteem of my fellows. I want power. All these sorts of things that drive the world. There's no blame for this. This is what makes the world go round. What's the song? I think it's from Cabaret, Money Makes the World Go Round. Gita says, karma makes the world go round. It's desire. And then Krishna has said the result for these people is rebirth. meaning we end up at the end of a lifetime. Is this all there is? Maybe it would have been better if fill in the blank. And then that's the mind state that impels us into a new incarnation. Now, even without accepting the doctrine of reincarnation, all you have to do is look at one life. You go through an experience, and we have the universal truth. 95 cents worth of work for a nickel's worth of juice. Is this all there is? Maybe it would be better if new job, new relationship, new place to live, move to a different city, move to a different country, take up this, take up that. And this is the karma chakra, the wheel of karma. But Krishna has said for those people who have evolved enough spiritually to start seeking the infinite, maybe there's another way. And we start to take our engine desire, which has been into bhoga, worldly enjoyment, and we start to turn it into mumukshutva. What's mumukshutva?
Burning desire for liberation.
Yes. So that same engine, we turn it towards the infinite. In the beginning, that may be focused on what we call an Ishta Devata, literally wished for deity. God as you understand God. God as you have chosen God. Can be Krishna, can be Shiva, can be Rama, can be Durga, can be Jesus, it can be Allah, it can be Buddha. Something out there, something other than my worldly desire. Start to open the heart with deep devotion. We start committing ourselves to this idea of union with God as we understand God. Then, as we evolve a little bit further, we come in contact with the idea that we get in Kena Upanishad. Second chapter, third mantra. It is not that which you worship here. What is it? When Krishna talks about himself, he doesn't mean himself as other. That's one interpretation. But the deeper interpretation, when he talks about himself, he's talking about the self. He's talking about yourself. So this worship, this devotion, this commitment is to the rediscovery of my own self-nature. Focusing all my attention, becoming a jinyasu, seeker after the highest wisdom. Any thoughts on this?
What was that term you use in the beginning? People who seek the world? Deva Yajna?
Deva yajna.
Yajna.
Deva is a god.
Uh,
Yajna is a sacrifice. So the metaphor that he's used in Gita is it's the Vedic ritual. It's like, in India, if somebody does a puja. So somebody's opening up a new shop and they install an idol of Lakshmi. They hire the pujari to come and do a Lakshmi puja so they can make a lot of money.
Mm.
That's kind of a frame for how most people approach God. Most people, whether they analyze it this way or not, for them, God is a combination between Santa Claus, traffic cop, and errand boy.
And that's different than bhakti, which is devotional.
Bhakti yoga, you may start with a Santa Claus, traffic cop, and errand boy God. It's all very selfish. God, give me what I want.
Mm.
But the highest devotion is to love God for God's sake. The image I like to use is a teenager who's off to their first year in college. I don't know if Indians go through this, but certainly us Westerners did. I did. My first semester of college, great big bag of dirty laundry goes in the back seat of my car. And I drive home. I come into the house and I hug my mother. Hi, Mom, what's for dinner? And I take the laundry and I put it in front of the washing machine. And then later after dinner, I go into my dad's study. Dad, I spent all my allowance. Can you give me a check to make it through the rest of the semester? Do Indian kids do this too? Yes, no?
I lived away from home, so I didn't get that.
But the idea is we see our parents as gimme, 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 take care of me, rescue me, bail me out.
Mm.
But when we get a little more mature, you go home to visit your parents and you just want to be with your mother because you love your mother. So, prema, this love for God, for many of us starts out selfishly. God, get me out of this mess. Help. But then the true bhakta goes to God for God's sake. And so you get all this fabulous Sufi poetry, for example, about the beloved. But in the end, God is not other. That's just our highest idea of God. God, the ground of being of the whole creation, and your very self are the same. Does that make it a little clearer?
Yes, Jim.
Good question. All right, next verse.
Jnana yagyena chapyanye yajanto mamupasate ekatvena pratatvena bahuda vishwato mukham. Others also, offering the wisdom as sacrifice, worship me, regarding me as one, as distinct, as manifold, me who in all forms, faces everywhere.
So this was an important shloka for Swamiji. Jnana yagyena, instrumental case, by means of a sacrifice of knowledge. So I will frequently talk about, we would go to a camp, that would be 2 weeks or so with Swamiji. He called them jnana yajnas. Being a Malayali, he said jnana yajna. This was his accent. But this is the verse from which he got the wording. So what we're doing here tonight is jnana yajna, the sacrifice of knowledge. This gestalt that takes place when the teacher breaks open the meaning of the scriptures for students whose minds are able to tune to the truth. And if it's done well, then your understanding and your direct experience come together at the same time. Jnanam vijnanam cha. So are those for whom bhakti is the path they take. Love God until you disappear. Or you can take the path of wisdom. And we can have jnana yajna, sacrifice of knowledge. And then he breaks it down into other elements. So let's parse this particular verse. The first idea, please.
Others also, offering the wisdom sacrifice, worship me.
Yes. So, as I said earlier, not worshiping Krishna out there, but Atma Vichara, inquiry into the nature of the self. This also is worship of Krishna. Next idea.
Regarding me as one.
So our bodies are different. Our minds are different. Our thoughts are different. But the self in me is not like the self in you. The self in me is the self in you. There's only one of us here. What is that self? Chidakasha. Pure awareness, the space of pure awareness. Unattached from the body, mind, intellect. Asangoham, I am unattached. Satchidananda Rupaham, my form is existence, consciousness, and it's the same in all of us. Next idea.
As distinct as manifold.
So we have what we call Nirguna Brahman and Saguna Brahman. Nis actually is the word, means without. Sa means with. So Nirguna Brahman, Brahman without qualities. That's your very experience of I. If you slow down the mind, reduce the frequency and volume of thought, and the space between your thoughts, with the attentive faculty turned within, notice the knower. And there's nothing there. There's no thing there. You cannot find an individual person there. It's just the vast empty space of pure awareness. Well, then what about this phenomenal world? This is Saguna Brahman. Brahman with qualities. This becomes easy to understand if we go to the dream state. You are the God of your dream. In the dream, I like to call it mini Maya. So the first thing that happens is you go to sleep. You have avarana shakti, veiling power. You have the non-apprehension of yourself as the waker. And then your one undivided mind fragments, refracts into the dreamer. I have a dream body, which is a locus of perception. I peep out at the dream world from it. I have a dream ego. I think I'm that body. And there's a dream world outside and dream thoughts and feelings inside. But in truth, the manifold elements of the dream are nothing but my mind. That's how the infinite manifests all this. It is like a very long and very vivid dream. The scriptures do not say that God creates the world like a potter creates a pot, but it comes about by means of sankalpa, wish, will, intention, imagination, thought, desire. Very difficult word to translate. So, the great Semitic religions, Islam, Christianity, and Judaism, are monotheistic. They believe in one God. Yoga, Vedanta, is not monotheistic. It is monistic. What's the difference between monotheism and monism? Monotheism says there's only one God. Monism says there's only God.
Mm.
So the phenomenal world is God, which is consciousness appearing as name and form. And we get these classic metaphors. All gold jewelry, be they nose rings, earrings, necklaces, bangles, they're all made of gold. That's the material cost. What is the difference? The name and form. All clay pots, be it a vase, be it a cup, be it a bowl, be it a jar. The names and forms are different, but it's all clay. That's the material cause. So also in this world, table, chair, carpet, woman, man, car outside. Names and forms are different, but the material cause, the substance out of which it's all made, is consciousness. And there are enormous implications to that. Any thoughts on this? Next verse.
There's one more.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Me who in all forms faces everywhere.
Yes, so this doesn't mean Lord Krishna has a whole bunch of heads. You see some of the pictures in like the Hare Krishna versions of the Gita. There's some really cool pictures in there. But one of them has, Krishna with thousands and thousands of heads facing everywhere. It's not what it means. What it means is we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of us here. So in this room, each of you sees the room from your own viewpoint. Each of you is aware of your body. Each of you is aware of your feelings and thoughts. But the conscious being looking out of the eyes of everybody in this room and all over all creation is the same awareness. So when the scripture says that he's facing everywhere, it is the sentience in every sentient being. Now, there's a wonderful practice that's implied in this. If you look another person in the eyes, you get the sense that there's an entity looking out of those eyes. Remember that entity that's looking out of those eyes is the self, yourself. Relate to the God that's peeping out of the eyes of everyone. And watch how your relationships change. Any thoughts on this? Next verse.
Aham kraturaham yajnam swada maham aushadam mantroham hame vajya maham agniraham bhutam. I am the kratu, I am the sacrifice, I am the offering to the Pitris or the ancestor. I am the medicinal herb and all plants. I am the mantra. I am also the clarified butter. I am the fire. I am the oblation.
So here he's describing the elements of a Vedic sacrifice, a yajna, like a homa. Those of you who may have done homa. And we don't need to know specifically what these various elements mean because it's metaphor. The invitation here is we want to make every aspect of our own lives sacred. So the bricks that are used to build the fire, that is Krishna. The fuel is Krishna. The elements that you throw into the fire is Krishna. The priest that's performing the sacrifice is Krishna. The fruit of the sacrifice is Krishna. The one who gets the benefit of it is Krishna. So what does this mean for you and me? So, for example, Daniel does financial planning for various clients. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, so the one who's doing the financial planning is Krishna. You. The plan you set forth for your client is Krishna. The client, him or herself, is Krishna. The success or failure of the plan is Krishna. And the prasad, the remnant of the sacrifice, meaning your paycheck, is also Krishna. So the idea here is to sanctify our lives. There's a very famous book written by Christopher Isherwood called My Guru and His Disciple. A lovely book. And Christopher Isherwood was a gay man, and he was no youngster when he was working with the Swami. And Isherwood fell in love with this younger boy who had fallen in love with him. So he goes to his guru and he says, "What should I do? We love each other." And the Swami thought for a moment and he said, "See him as Krishna." Even something as personal as that. If I have a problem in my life, I invite you to ask this question: where is God in this? I tell you, God is there. Krishna is every element of life. If we ask ourselves, where is God in this? Just has this incredibly subtle but important shift of our perspective. Along the same lines, there's a wonderful, tiny little book called The Practice of the Presence, written by a monk named Brother Lawrence. Who here's familiar with that book? Any of you? It's just a marvelous short little thing. And his whole practice, wherever he is, how would I think? How would I behave if the master were here? And I love his use of word because he doesn't say Jesus. You can say, how would I behave? How would I think? How would I act if Lord Krishna were here? Or any divine incarnation of God as you understand. Doesn't matter. Little tricks to try to sanctify the moment. A wonderful practice. I've shared with many of you one of my favorite prayers from Father Michael Judge, who was a Franciscan. He was the first recorded death at 9/11. He was the chaplain to the New York City Fire Department, Franciscan priest. And this prayer of his is, God, take me where you want me to go. Let me meet who you want me to meet. Tell me what you want me to say and keep me out of your way. Isn't that a great prayer? Again, the idea of endeavoring to sanctify make sacred, make holy. The most mundane dimensions of our lives. Any thoughts on this? Next verse.
पिताहमस्य जगतो मा आता धाता पितामहः वेद्यं पवित्रमोङ्कार ऋक्साम यजुरेव च. I am the father of this world, the mother, the supporter, and the grandsire, the one thing to be known, the purifier, the syllable Om, and also the Rik, the Sam, and the Yaju also.
Yes. So again, this is metaphor, a way to look at the holiness of everything. So let's break down these ideas. The ideas of father and mother, again, in the Semitic religions, we have a tendency to always think of God with a masculine pronoun. But in other parts of the world, we can also worship the mother. In truth, God doesn't have plumbing. God is spirit, and to be known in spirit and in truth. But father and mother, if you come from a healthy family, which isn't all of us in this day and age, unfortunately, they're the provider, they're the nourisher, they're the protector, they're our first exemplars of love. So God is that, the mother, the father. And here he goes on, the grandfather, the progenitor, meaning the origin of everything. There is nothing that's ever been that's outside of God. What's the next idea?
The supporter and the grandsire.
Yes, supporter. A very famous bhajan. Ganesha Sharanam Sharanam Ganesha. What's Ganesha? What does Sharanam mean?
To defeat / refuge. Or
Yes. Safe harbor, refuge. Yeah. So where is it where we're really safe? Truth is, you're always safe. Those of us who've been through terrible traumas or physical illnesses, one of the things that you have to admit is you are still here. The body has gone through a lot. The mind has gone through a lot. The ego has taken its beatings. But you are still here. Now, I have been doing sadhana for a long time. This year in February was 50 years since I met Swamiji. Now, length of time doing sadhana is no guarantor of any mind state, any advancement on the path. But it does empirically prove one thing. I have 50 years of empirical evidence that God will take care of me. That doesn't mean I hit all the green lights of life. But with complete dependence on God, we're able to match calamity with surrender. So God is your support. God is your refuge. God is your shelter. Your ever-present help through anything. You don't have to muscle your way through life. We don't have to fight. I can't. He can. I think I'll let him surrender. Ishvara Pranidhana. I just went through the yamas and niyamas with a student this past week. The very last one of the niyamas. Ishvara Pranidhana. Trustful surrender to God. I wouldn't recommend doing that if God were going to drop us. God is our support. God is our shelter, our refuge. Next idea.
The thing to be known.
Yes. So we can just simply look at the term Vedanta. This is the tradition we're in, Advaita Vedanta. What does Vedanta mean? Veda Anta. It's the study of the philosophy and practice that's in the concluding portions of the Vedas, which are the Upanishads. Means the end of the Vedas. But the word Veda comes from the root vid, which means to know. It also means the end of knowledge. What is that knowledge? By which everything is known. We talked about that idea earlier. Without which nothing can be known. Beyond which there is nothing to know. You don't need to know Sanskrit. You don't need to know all these lists of categories. Is this chit? Is this chitta? Is this chaitanya? Don't worry about it. What is the thing to be known? Who are you? What is your essential nature? That is the thing to be known. Next idea.
The purifier.
Yes. This has two possible meanings. The way to heal the mind is to get out of the mind. When we start to become proficient in stepping back, Sakshi Bhava, taking on the attitude of the witness, with our thoughts and feelings ever in front of us. Oh, isn't that interesting? Rather than being identified and caught up. The way to heal the mind is to get out of the mind. Stay identified as a witness. This purifies the mind. It's better, more powerful than a change in your diet or fasting or staying up all night or taking a pilgrimage or chanting long mantras. Those are all good as purifiers of the mind. Nothing is more powerful than Sakshi Bhava. And the other meaning of this, yourself is Vishuddha, extremely pure, superlatively pure, already. When we have this shift in our identity, now listen carefully. Purifying our equipment, the body, mind, intellect, is like trying to count to the highest number. There's no end. The equipment, by definition, is flawed, finite, the product of ignorance. But you are already pure. The goal of the spiritual life is not to become a goody-goody. Do not try to be a realized person. I want to be like the saints. No. Know that you are Brahman. Big difference.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's the same shift that we talked about in the first verse where we're like doing the Deva Yajna, and we eventually be like, I'm doing this to uh, not doing this for goody goody, I'm doing this to worship God and to actually go like in this the example you described. I'm not going to my mom for my laundry, I'm going to my mom because I love them.
In the end, knowing who you are answers all the questions, resolves all the doubts, gives you the pearl of great price, the chinta money, the wish fulfilling gem, the peace that passes all understanding. That's the real goal of human life. Yes. But the thing is, many people get confused and they want to be a realized person, a master, a, a special kind of human being. And you can always tell this because they'll tell you how realized they are, and they'll tell you about their spiritual experiences. This is someone who's identified with a form of person. But the real jnani is not a person. And the great joke, the jnani sees clearly, self and me is the same as the self and you. We are not different. Is that useful? Going on.
There are more,
Oops, okay.
the syllable om,
Oh, Omkara. Oh, this is a lot. So, Om as the sound syllable for the self permeates, pervades Vedic literature, all the various systems of yoga. And the best understanding of what Om means comes from Mandukya Upanishad. It's the shortest of all the Upanishads. It's only 12 mantras. It's the most sophisticated, the most advanced. And it's traditionally studied with what we call the Gaudapada Karika. Gaudapada was the grandfather guru of Shankara. Gaudapada had a student, Govindapada. Govindapada was the guru of Shankara. And a Karika is shorter than a commentary. It's a gloss. It's just little like margin notes. So in Mandukya Upanishad, we start off getting an exegesis, an scriptural understanding of Om. The first mantra says, Om, the word, is all this, sarvamidam. Whenever you see sarvamidam in scripture, all this, it means the phenomenal world, the creation, all the objects, all the emotions, all the thoughts, all the bodies, all the minds, all the intellects, all the egos, the perceiver, feeler, thinker entities, all the vasanas, all the tendencies, sarvamidam, all this is Om. That which is beyond all this is also Om. We talked about this a few verses back, Nirguna Brahman and Saguna Brahman. Brahman without qualities, beyond all this, Brahman with qualities, this phenomenal world. Then he says, Om is divided into Chatush Pada, 4 feet, literally. 4 quarters, it's usually translated. And he says it's not like the 4 feet of a cow. You see the syllable Om written out, it doesn't have 4 feet on it. What are the 4 parts of Om? What's the first one?
Ah.
That stands for the waking state. Second one?
Ooh.
And what's that stand for?
Dream state.
Dream state. Third one?
Mm.
Stand for chocolate?
Probably.
No, deep sleep. And the fourth,
Silence.
the turiya, which is another name for the cell. It's not a 4th mind state. It's 4th in our series of enumeration or discussion. So the awareness is the 4th, which witnesses the movement of the waking, dream, and deep sleep states. And in samadhi, when the mind is gone, that self still remains. When the mind returns, the self then is the witness. So when you chant any mantra, make sure you include silence around. In that silence, the mind turned back on its source. Notice the turiya before yourself. That is Krishna. That is Om. Nothing good like, oh, Om's another name for Krishna. Oh, it's much more than that. Next idea.
Also the Rig, the Sam, and the Yaju.
And for poetry, he's only listed 3. It also includes Atharva Veda. So the Vedas have the collected spiritual wisdom of South Asian people going back thousands and thousands of years. For example, I think it's in the Rig Veda. There is a hymn to the Saraswati River. And they literally geographically located in the Veda. In the West, most people thought, oh, that's just mythology, because there is no Saraswati River. Except when we started to get satellite photography from outer space, they look down and they can see the dry river bed of the Saraswati River. But because of tectonics, everything shifted in climate change. There hasn't been any water in it for from 8 to 10,000 years, which clearly indicates sections of Rig Veda are that old. It's amazing when you think about it, that there's memories of a river that we haven't seen for 8 to 10,000 years. So all this collected wisdom, and the Vedas are divided into 4 sections. Some people say 3, depends on just how you want to parse it. The first part are the mantras. These are hymns which are used in various Vedic rituals. Second section are the Brahmanas. These are rubrics for priests. How many priests do you need? How do you sit? How do you build the altar? Who chants what? Then there's the Aranyakas, which is the forest literature. Sometimes that's combined with the next section, the Upanishads. But they're hymns. Usually they point towards ultimate reality. Then the Upanishads. Upanishad, which literally means to sit down near. And there are 103 bona fide Upanishads. And they only concern one topic. That's the nature of ultimate reality, the ultimate nature of a human being, and how they are one. All of this is Krishna, the very path itself, and how we are to live as human beings, no matter what our state of mind is. Next idea?
Yes.
That's it. All right. Next verse.
Gatir Bharta Prabhu Sakshi Nivasa Sharanam Surit Prabhava Pralaya Sthanam Nidhanam Bijamavyayam. I am the goal, the supporter, the Lord, the witness, the abode, the shelter, the friend, the origin, the dissolution, the foundation, the treasure house, and the seed imperishable.
Oh, so many elements. I will try to get them all in. So the first idea,
The goal,
what is the goal of human life? It's not cash and prizes. It's not family. It's not relationships. It's not a job. There's nothing wrong with these things. But this is what Ram Dass called grist for the mill. This is where we work out all the attachments and impediments to the real goal of life, which is God consciousness, which is self-realization. Next idea.
the supporter,
Yes. So it is the substratum of all of existence, but on a very personal level. If we practice this Ishvara Pranidhana, this trustful surrender to God, if we make the decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God, all the burden goes away. Next idea.
the Lord,
Lord here means ruler. I can't, God can. Not my will, but thy will be done. Or as the Master Jesus said, I of myself do no thing. It is the Father within that doeth the work. All right, God, how can I serve you and your people today? Should I take this job? Should I take that job? I don't know, God. Illumine my mind. Give me the right thought or action. Always this sense of turning it over, this trustful surrender to God. Next idea.
the witness,
Yes, we talked about that. I is the witness of all objective phenomena, of the body itself, of the feelings, of the thoughts, of the rise and the fall of ignorance. See, even the witness of deep sleep. Did you sleep well last night? Yes. How do you know it? You must have been there to experience it. Did you get up in the middle of the night to go pee? Oh, yes, I did. If you were not there in deep sleep, you wouldn't have known it. It's like this. Everybody look around at the room. Now close your eyes. Are you blind or are you seeing the back of your eyelids? Open your eyes. When you shut your eyelids occluded your capacity to see the room. At night in deep sleep, the mind is covered by pure ignorance. But you are still there. Witness of everything. Next idea.
That's another form of awareness Shakti.
Say what?
Deep sleep is another form of awareness Shakti.
That's exactly what it is. Avarana Shakti means veiling power. Yes. Going on.
the abode,
Yes. So nothing is outside of God. I live in a terrible place. Gloom and doom. No, you live and move and have your being in God. Right where the trouble seems to be, there God is. In the Hebrew scriptures, Moses goes up on top of Mount Zion, and God appears to him in the burning bush. And God says to Moses, take off your shoes, for the place whereon you stand is holy ground. Listen carefully. It wasn't holy ground because God was in a burning bush. It's holy ground because Moses was standing there. Everywhere you stand is holy ground. There is no place you can go where God is absent. Oh, Jim, don't you want to go back to India up in the Himalayas? They're beautiful, very sacred. But is there more God there than there is in Oakland? No. Next verse.
The shelter.
Yes. Here is a great secret. This Ishvara Pranidhana, this trustful surrender to God, is the real key to a peaceful life, to content. If I can really turn my will and my life over to God's care, everything becomes easy. But if I think, okay, God may be all powerful, but he's obviously an underachiever because he's not doing it my way. And I get in there with struggle and willpower, and I take a baseball bat to life. I not only make myself miserable, but I really annoy and hurt other people. Let go and let God have his wonderful way. Take shelter in it. Next idea.
The friend.
Yeah. So if you are a bhakta and you think of God as the significant other, it's not your girlfriend or boyfriend. God is the really significant other. Someone you can walk with and talk with and rely upon. Through the deepest part of us, our intuition, we can get unerring guidance in life. But we have to be able to silence raga dvesha sha, raga dvesha cha, the loud voices of craving and aversion. Then we can drop into that still small voice. Always with me. Next one.
The origin.
Yes, we've talked about this idea. Origin of everything is in God.
The dissolution.
Pardon me?
The dissolution.
Yes, everything ends in God. This wheel of time. Everything comes out of the silence, exists for a moment, and then it's gone. But I am outside of that, ever the witness. Is that all the pieces of it?
There's three more.
Okay, going on.
The foundation,
Same idea. The basis, the support, the foundation. Next idea.
the treasure house,
Oh, yes. Where is happiness? Where is love? It's my own self nature. What I'm looking for, I'm looking with. The real treasure. That wonderful refrain in Nirvana Shatakam. Chidananda Rupam, Shivoham, Shivoham. My nature is bliss consciousness. I am Shiva. I am auspiciousness. I am Krishna. I am auspiciousness. Next one.
and the seed in paradise.
Yes. So this bija, this seed, what was there before the Big Bang that caused the Big Bang to bang? The beginning of it all is still consciousness, still Krishna. Is that all of it?
Mhm.
All right. Perfect place to stop. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Sri Guru Pyo Namaha. Hari Om. Om. That's